Since news of former President Trump's indictment broke, right-wingers have been trying to spin the situation in a number of wild ways. The damage control has gotten out of control, especially on social media. It's understandable in a way. It's pretty tough to defend the indefensible without just making things up. But there are just so many outright fabrications that it can be tough to keep up with them all. So it feels like a pretty good time for another edition of Debunk That Tweet. Or in this case, debunk all those tweets. There were too many this past week for us to narrow it down to just one. So let's start with this whopper from right-wing lawyer Robert Barnes. Bill Clinton had national security information in his sock drawer. Clinton never formally declassified it when sued to return it to archives. A federal court dismissed the case. Why? Because by law, the president's mere act of removing the records made them his personal records. First of all, that just sounds like a kind of old wives' tale, but let's dig a little deeper. The Clinton tapes were recordings from interviews Clinton gave in the White House to historian and author Taylor Branch. Branch later recalled that Clinton stored the tapes in a sock drawer. When a conservative group sued Clinton to turn over the recordings, a judge found for Clinton, saying they were personal and not presidential materials. But according to the Presidential Records Act, the term presidential records means documentary materials, you know, the stuff involved with the actual day-to-day constitutional job of being president. The term personal record, says the Act, relates to things like diaries or journals that don't relate to that day-to-day job. In what world are nuclear secrets or war plans personal records? So, Mr. Barnes, consider your tweet debunked. Next, let's take a look at some wild tweets from Senator Lindsey Graham. He wrote, President Trump will have his day in court, but espionage charges are absolutely ridiculous. Whether you like Trump or not, he did not commit espionage. He's not a spy, Graham wrote. He is overcharged. OK, yeah, this is an easy one, too. Just look at the indictment. Trump was not charged with espionage. There are several charges. None of them are espionage. I mean, come on. It's right in the indictment, if you bothered to read it. He was charged under the Espionage Act, which says that unauthorized possession of classified information is a major no-no, as is willful retention of such materials. Trump did both. And let me say this for you slowly, Senator Graham. Just because you're charged under the Espionage Act, it doesn't mean you're being charged with espionage. Moving on to number 3 from GOP Congresswoman and pretend moderate Nancy Mace. She tweeted, Hillary Clinton used a hammer to destroy evidence of a private email server and classified information on that server and was never indicted. The same standard should apply to everyone, including Donald Trump. The idea of Hillary Clinton hammering away at a BlackBerry Office Space style is truly hilarious. So hilarious, I almost wish it really happened. But it was actually an aide who the FBI says destroyed old phones, and not Clinton, and hardware is often destroyed for security reasons, to make sure no bad actors are able to access the data on your device after you retire it, you stop using it. So it wasn't Clinton, it was an aide, and it was a phone, not evidence of a private email server, as Mace falsely claimed. But the bigger point is that the Clinton-Trump comparison is absurd. Clinton was investigated and cleared by a Republican FBI chief of any deliberate mishandling of classified information and of any obstruction. Trump, not yet. So another tweet debunked. And now we have a bonus round. Debunk That Truth Social post. Doesn't have the same ring to it, though. You might want to try a catchier name for your platform, Donald. Anyway, here's his post. I have been indicted, seemingly over the boxes hoax, even though Joe Biden has 1,850 boxes at the University of Delaware. Here we go again. 1,850 boxes is one of Trump's new catchphrases, and he's been working overtime lately to try and get it to stick. But it's actually 1,875 boxes, and they're not White House records. They're from Biden's Senate years. There is no law that says senators' records have to go to the National Archives. Let me read to you from the Senate rules. Quote, the records created and maintained within a senator's office are the property of the senator. Most senators donate their collections to a research repository in their home state when they leave office. And just for good measure, the FBI still reviewed those materials, those Senate records, with Biden's approval and cooperation. So sorry, Mr. Former President, but the Biden documents at Delaware are totally irrelevant, meaning your truth post has been debunked. The bottom line is this. Don't let all this social media disinformation, misinformation, distract you from the fact that Donald J. Trump has been indicted and the charges are serious.